to the next topic of the lesson, that is 6.3, trade in the subcontinent and beyond. Now what do you understand with this heading, that what it is trying to tell? It is trying to tell that during the 600 BCE to 600 CE are the people of the Indian subcontinent. During this time, they were having trade relations with the people of other countries or not. So the archaeologists have found the evidences in the historical sites that they have excavated. They have found gold coins, the coins that were of the Roman civilization. So it tells that the people of Indian subcontinent, they were having trade relation with the people of Europe, that is they were having trade with the Roman Empire, as well as they were having trade with the people of the North Africa, and they were also having, not only they were having trade with the Europe and the African countries through the Arabian Sea, that is they were using this sea route for having trade with the European countries. Means the ships were sailing from the Arabian Sea from Indian subcontinent, and then these ships are going towards the Mediterranean Sea, where the ships were unloading their goods and having trade with the Roman civilization, as well as you can say the people of North Africa. Now it is also said, the evidences have also been found that not only they were the people of the Indian subcontinent at that time were having trade with Europe and Africa continent, but also they were using Bay of Bengal, the sea waters of Bay of Bengal, for having trade with with the people of Southeast Asia, as well as China and Far East China. That is, they were having trades with China as well as the people of Southeast Asia. So it is also said that for having trade means sea routes are used, and they were also, besides using the sea routes, they were also using the land routes, like for having trade relation with the people of Central Asia, like you can say Iraq, at that time it was known as Mesopotamia, and Persia. Mostly the people, they were using the land routes, that is they were using the passes to go through to have means trade with these countries. And not only the external trade was going on within these countries, but also the people of the Indian subcontinent, they were also having the internal trade, that is the trade within the territories of India. And for this they were using the rivers, that is the water route as well as the land route, because there in Indian subcontinent there is a good network of land as well as waterways. Now I'll just go through the lesson and then you will understand in a more better way. Trade in the subcontinent and beyond. From the 6th century BCE, land and river routes crisscrossed the subcontinent and extended in various directions overland into Central Asia and beyond, and overseas from parts that dotted the coastline, extending across the Arabian Sea to East and North Africa and West Asia, and through the Bay of Bengal to Southeast Asia and China. So this I have already explained. So let us move. Rulers often attempted to control these routes. Now what it is saying, that the people of the Indian subcontinent, they were using the sea routes for having external trade with other countries. So those traders or merchants who were using these sea routes, they have to pay some duty. Duty means some taxes to the rulers of the India at that time for doing import and export, which is also known as custom duty. Especially I have already explained you in my classes that still a duty is imposed when the goods are being imported from other countries. So when the goods are imported from other countries, that is when the goods are brought from other countries in our country, then those who are importing the goods, they have to pay certain taxes to the government. So this is known as custom duty. So this custom duty is imposed on the import of goods, so that the people should avoid importing the good from other countries, and they should try to use what is there in our country, because when import is going on, then our currency goes in other country, and that is a loss, economic loss to the country. And second point is to avoid the stiff competition, because the manufacturers or the, you can say, producers, they have to bear great loss because of the stiff competition they are facing with the import from other countries, because the imported goods are usually of very good quality and of very, you can say, cheap. So people like to buy only those goods. So to avoid the stiff competition and to avoid the economic loss, the kings or the rulers or the government, they impose taxes on those who are importing the good from other country, which is also known as custom duty. But some taxes are also imposed on the export of goods, you can say, like excise duty and all that, and these taxes are given to the government so that their goods are protected, and in case if there is any loss, then they could be able to cover up the loss. So at that time also, those merchants or traders who were doing the overseas trade, they were paying certain taxes for the protection of their goods, so that their goods could be protected when they are going through a long sea voyage. Because at that time, the sea journeys or the sea voyages, they were very risky venture, because first of all, you can say, the ships were not so strong to bear the, you can say, sea storms or anything, and usually shipwreck. And second thing was, there were robbers, or they were also known as sea pirates, and they used to kill the people in the mid way, as well as they used to rob their goods. So in order to get protected from all these things, the merchants usually gave some taxes to the government so that they can be protected as well as their goods. Now, next point is what it is saying. Those who traverse these routes included peddlers who probably traveled on foot, and merchants who traveled with caravans of bullock whose carts and pack animals. So they were saying, for the internal trade as well as for the trade which they are can have through the land routes, like through the passes, like you can say Indian subcontinent is attached to many neighboring countries through the land routes also, like you can say Pakistan, Afghanistan, then Bangladesh and Nepal, Myanmar and all that, and even Central Asia also, and China. So most of the people, they were using land routes also at that time, which used to go through the passes like Khyber Pass and all that, through the mountains. Mostly the travelers, they were going through their own foot. They were traveling alone, and they were known as peddlers, who were just walking. But most of them who were going for the purpose of having trade, and they were having a lot of precious things with them, they don't like to make the journey alone, so they were going with other merchants in a group, you can say in a group, so that they could be protected from the robbers or the dacoits who used to loot them. So they were going in a group, and that group was known as caravans. And these caravans were having animals also, like bullocks and carts, on which they are moving and they are loading their goods. Okay. Also, there were seafarers whose ventures means expeditions, were risky but high profitable. So, I have told you that mostly international trade was carried on through the sea routes, and it was very difficult to make the long sea voyages at that time. But it was very profitable because the Indian goods were in great demand in the European and in other countries, and so they were getting good price for their goods. Especially, you can say, still spices are you can say an ingredient of food, which is very, you can say, precious, and which is very much in demand in the European countries, so they were paying handsome price for that. Okay, so those merchants who were dealing with the foreign trade or who were doing overseas trade, they were designated, means they were given the title as Mastuvan in Tamil, and Sethis and sorry. Sethis and Satvanas in Prakrit. So in common language they were known as Seth or Satvanas, and in Tamil they were known as Mastuban. They were very enormous, they were becoming enormous rich by having the international trade. A wide range of goods were carried from one place to another: salt, stone, timber, medicinal plants, to name a few. Spices, especially pepper, were in high demand in the Roman Empire, as were textiles and medicinal plants, and all these were transported across the Arabian Sea to the Mediterranean. Means for having trade with the western countries, which sea route they were using? Arabian Sea to all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. Six, now come to the next topic. So for this I'll just